Welcome back, everybody, to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my linemate Matt with me. It's been a little bit. We've been, spreading out our podcast. We've been, pretty busy. Hawks have been, out of it for quite a while. And Matt, do you think the playoffs this year have been pretty entertaining?
Oh man, the final I kind of would like to see a dogfight. The Panthers win, Oilers win, kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
Just been up until tonight. The Panthers were just rolling, and I credit the Oilers. The first game they came out flying. They got beat by Bobrovsky, and he's been amazing. Best goals against average or save percentage, whatever it is in the playoff history. Not after tonight. But, the Stars woke up tonight. McDavid, I think Draisaitl got a couple points, and McDavid's got 32 assists this postseason. It's crazy.
Holy smoke.
But, I thought it's crazy because I said the Oilers, it's their year. I remember saying at the beginning of the year, but, I still think their backs are against the wall. It's very steep mountain to climb now. Anything's possible, I guess. McDavid, he's going to be on a mission. I know they're going to play their best game, and it's very hard to come back from 3-1. We've seen it, with the Hawks in Detroit. What was that, 2013? I believe it might have been 2013.
That was a different squad, though.
It was. We were battle tested. We had a cup under our belts already, and Oilers are still learning.
Top down, they were really good. The Oilers are just top heavy. That's it.
Well, you got to credit Duncan Keith tonight, man. He got the boys ready to roll in Edmonton, and they said they were really inspired by him, and he had some speeches about 2011 coming back from 3-0 and almost upsetting the Canucks that year. We just fell short with a dump in that should have went higher over Burroughs' head, but he put a glove on it and ended up scoring, and they made it to the final that year, but lost to Boston. Thank God. But I was surprised. I thought Dallas would get a little bit farther. I didn't think Edmonton could compete with that team. Dallas was more complete, but I think they were just ran out of gas at the end, the Stars, and I was kind of hoping Joe Pavelski would get that cup, but looks like he's going to retire, dude. I think they said he doesn't have any intentions to play unless somebody blows his mind with a crazy offer, which, I think that's a guy you want in the locker room for sure. He's a great leader. But if he retires, man, he was joyful to watch, man. He was a really good player, really good American. And again, I can't believe the Sharks gave up on that guy. Crazy.
He was their captain.
Yeah.
He was their captain for a reason, too.
Yeah, Dougie Wilson, I head scratcher, man. I can't believe they let him go. It's been downhill from there. They've been horrible.
So I've been actually pulling for the Oilers to bow out at any point during these playoffs, and here I am in the finals. They're down 3-0. I didn't put any money on this game, but I've been waiting for this team to just fold because they just don't seem like a team that's built for the ultimate test, and the ultimate test are the Panthers. I thought the Panthers were going to sweep this team, and today, obviously, they lost 8-1. But do you think that's all that Edmonton's got? Do you think that's the flame before it goes out, before the candle goes out?
The last stand. When you play Call of Duty, you get the last stand and you're on your back shooting the pistols at the zombies or whatever.
Man.
I think this is probably their last push. I think they had a lot of momentum with the crowd. That Edmonton crowd's awesome, dude. That is so. It reminds me of the Hawks dynasty days, and just crazy yelling and cheering, and very hockey educated. Canadians. I think Florida, it's ideal, man. You want to win at home and celebrate with the fans, and you do not want to get on that plane and go back to Edmonton for another 20 million hours. Screw that. That would be awful. And then you go there and you lose, you got to go back, and it's no thank you. Get it done. I think Bob's got to have a big bounce back game. Kachuk's got to show up. Barkov, we don't know. These guys could be hurting for all we know. They hide the injuries in the playoffs. So,
well, this is 2 straight years of going to the finals.
Yeah, and Tkachuk had a brutal injury last year, didn't they say his brother Brady had to tape him up and put his shirt on for him? It was so bad. He had
to help get him out of bed.
That's crazy. That guy's a warrior, but yeah, they got to win, man. This is a must win for them. You give them any more hope, they're in your heads, and it's not good, man. It's not good.
Since you brought up Brady Tkachuk, something I wanted to ask you: do you think Brady Tkachuk's going to be on the move?
Yeah, this is. I feel like every year he's in the stands watching his brother. That's got to get old, He was watching him in Calgary in the stands. He's watching him now in Florida. It's, I think,
2 years in a row.
4 years in a row almost. It's like, come on. This guy belongs in the playoffs. I mean, he's a good player. We once thought he was the best Tkachuk out of all of them. But, I mean, you can't really say that anymore because Matthews is just showing up in the season. He's putting all those points up with tons of penalty minutes, too, which is crazy. Yeah, crazy. But this guy's been in the final. He's pretty damn close to getting his first cup. This Florida team's good, man. They're going to be very good for a while. Paul Maurice, man, had great pickup after they got rid of Q. They kind of forced Q out of there with all that stuff going on, and a good replacement. He's got these guys on a good game plan, and they're sticking with the system. And I see a lot of his interviews. He's a really good guy, man. This guy needs a cup. He's been around for a while, bouncing around. This guy, get him a cup. He's a great coach.
Do you think that? Obviously, it seems to happen with Dale Talon everywhere, man. He builds a team and they go off to win a cup, architect, and then obviously we've got Q that came in and maybe he made this team a team, and has essentially, given these guys the blueprint to win. Do you think that
Dale and Q, both of them?
Yeah. Do you think that this is? Do you think this is it for the Panthers after this year if they don't win this year?
Oh, geez. I think they're still a really good team. I think they're going to be fine. And
but they played a lot of playoff hockey recently.
That's true. And I think a 3-1 lead, I think it's still theirs. It's theirs to lose now. Sam Reinhart had a great season. And you got to credit Bill Zito as the GM. He made some good trades. He brought in some good players to complement Barkov, and he traded his best winger, Huberdeau, for Tkachuk, and he fleeced them big time.
He did,
and he brought in Sam Reinhart, a 20-goal scorer in Buffalo. Dude scored 50 this year. He scored, I think, 30 or 40 last year. Connor Verhaeghe, a guy who won a cup with Tampa, the first cup, signed him over free agency the next year. He's been good. Forsling, a former Blackhawk, solid on the back end. Obviously, Barkov, drafted by Dale Talon. Go figure. A $10 million goalie, Bobrovsky, finally playing to his, Blue Jacket days. Vezina, you got to credit Dale, man. I mean, he brought in some good guys. He drafted the leader of the team, one of the best two-way Hossa-like guy, Barkov.
Yeah,
he's very underrated defensive guy too. Just like Hossa, makes great plays.
He got a lot of pushback when he did that too. I don't know if you remember that, but everyone was like, "Why? Why did you draft this guy?" They didn't need a center at the time. But
Dale's a beauty.
He's like, "You can't pass up. We just couldn't pass up on this kid.
You can't pass a two-way center guy. You can't." And Bill Zito, you got to credit him. He took over after Dale. Good drafting, very good trades. I like his trades. He brought in that Sam Bennett. That guy's he's like a grinder, man. He's getting in the heads of everybody.
He's all like over a grinder / goal scorer.
He's all over McDavid. McDavid was getting his face smashed in today. McDavid's smiling, laughing. He's got the big lead, but man, Bennett did not stop. Just boom, boom, boom in the face, and relentless, He might even get fined a couple times. I saw a pretty harsh video on that.
Oh, really?
But I think that team, man, they're built They're built for a good season team and the playoffs. So I think that they're going to be fine. And they got a goalie in the wings, Spencer Knight. Who knows how long he's going to stay? I mean,
how long is this guy going to wait to play?
I know they got Stolarts in at backup, but this guy's waiting in the wings. Like, is this going to be your guy? Or, hey, Davidson, why don't you make a couple calls and get a starting goalie that's ready to go, I think. Because he's going to be sitting behind Bob. If Bob's playing like this, the kid ain't going to get a lot of playing time. So this guy's value might be high for them. They might want to consider moving him.
Man, what do you think that they could get?
I think they definitely get a good prospect in return, maybe a pick, second rounder even. I mean, this is something that Davidson's got to start thinking about this stuff. Like, you got a lot of prospects, ready to go. You might want to start putting some NHL ready guys from other teams if you can move them. Now's the time. I mean, we got to start building around Connor, and we want to jump to our Getzel conversation now because
sure.
There's a rumor that he wants to play with Connor Bedard, and it blew up. And they're like, why would he want to play for Bedard on a last place team? He wants to go and win a Stanley Cup. Well, I could be wrong, but I think he won 2 Stanley Cups already. So it might be about the money with him right now and the playing time and possibly playing with the next great face of the NHL, So I don't know how I feel about that, about Gensel, but it's cool to hear that the Hawks are a team where these top free agents want to play again, because it's been a while, man.
Yeah. So you think it's about the money then for him?
I do. I think he wants to get as much as he can. He's got his cups. If he wanted to win, you'd think he'd want to be with a team. I don't think Carolina is built to win a cup, but they do have good season success. They make it to the second round, and hey, maybe one year they're going to get lucky and squeak in somehow. He would stay with those guys, but he doesn't.
I don't think he sees that.
Yeah, I think he wants to be closer to home. That's the rumor. It's from Nebraska, and I think he's got roots in Minnesota somewhere or something. And obviously he's not going to play with the Wild. I wouldn't waste my time there. And the Hawks are a good Midwestern up and coming team. We're loading up. It might take a while, but we're going to be good again. I just don't like the age, man. 29, turning 30. You give him a 4-year deal, I'm happy with it. 4-year, maybe tough, maybe 8 or 9 he'll get just because of his name and his history and what he could do. He definitely has skill, and he would help Bedard, I think. I think he would really help him out a lot. Playing with like Taylor Hall and Connor, I think it would help, but the one thing for me is the age. I'm just not crazy about the age. 27, absolutely give him the max deal. Let's rock and roll. But turning 30, I don't know, man.
It makes me think, man, like you said, 27, good, 29, and he already hasn't played in a full season in a really long time. Let me look that up. He hasn't played a full season since the 2018-2019 season. So 2019-2020, he played 39 games. 2020-2021, he played 56. 21-22, 76. Oh, wait, that 2019-2020 season, that was the COVID year, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, so he did play the full. He played the full.
Yeah, that's why he did 39. Okay,
76,
so
78. Yeah, that's good.
50.
He only played 70.
Oh, wait, 77.
70 games, yeah, with the 2 teams.
Right.
But yeah, man, he's got great numbers. He's a plus 69, very impressive.
I like that.
Keep that in mind. He played with one of the best 2-way forwards of all time, Crosby.
That's true.
That does help out a lot, but I did see a video of Crosby very upset when he was traded, Gensel. He wasn't happy about it. He looked very pissed off to answer questions, and he's usually a pretty classy guy with the media, and he wanted nothing to do with them that day. So
that's kind of crazy.
That just shows you the importance of the kid, So he's obviously a good, important player, and we'll see what happens July 1st, dude. It's going to be a fun offseason, I think. It's especially with the Hawks, because we got got some draft picks. We got 2 first-round picks this year, and there's rumors that he might trade the pick, one of the first-round picks. I think with the Tampa pick from the Hagel trade. So
okay.
We'll see. It's going to be exciting.
What number is that? Is that like the 17th pick or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's a higher.
Or wait, it was 20th, and then he moved down to 18
with the
right?
Islanders or something. Yeah, I think he traded the Islanders. So, yeah, I thought that was a weird one, but maybe he might trade it again just to get if he sees a guy he likes, or maybe he'll trade it for a current NHL player, like we were just discussing. Maybe not saying it's a rumor or even close to happening. Hey, first round pick Spencer Knight, done. Something like that.
Oh my gosh,
that'd be cool. Because I'm not crazy about the goaltending depth. I know that Comesso's got a lot of promise.
Years.
But yeah, it takes time with goalies, and I think Spencer Knight is kind of the guy that went going through the grind. Down in the minors, he got sent down. He had some off ice issues. I think he's ready to go, and kid's probably hungry for a starting role, and what a better time. Not this might be a good time for Davidson to consider something like that.
So what about Mrazek?
I think Mrazek is a good goalie to still have, and you want a good backup with or a good, even like a guy who split like a 40 and 40 type of thing. I think
Spencer
we did that
Knight,
with Crawford.
He doesn't want to come over to be a backup.
No, I don't think he'd be a backup anyway. I think at this point, Mrazek shouldn't be playing more than 40 games anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think he's getting up there in age. He's very good goalie. I think he very, very much probably the Hawks MVP last year. I think he was one of the most consistent Blackhawks that wasn't Bedard. He kept the team in there a lot, made big saves. I think he was top save percentage too, believe it or not, at the end of the season. Not the top, but top 15 or top 10 maybe. I'm spitballing it, but I remember seeing him up there. For being on a horrible team, he played his ass off last year. And that's good to have, It's good to have if you bring in a young goalie or something like that. He's a good guy to be playing with, cuz I don't know if you remember, 2011 we had Crawford and Marty Turco. Marty Turco was a good goalie for many years, and they brought him over to kind of, we lost Niemi, and we were like, oh, is Crawford ready? We don't know yet, so we'll bring him in there and wait and see. We got just to keep us competing. And that's something that they could keep in mind too. If you bring in a Knight guy or somebody else, you do got Mrazek in there to kind of give you some depth, which is always nice.
Yeah, I agree. I'd really like for them to bring in Patrick Kane, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was really upset, man. I was upset when I was reading those reports. I think what's his name? I forgot I think he's the Hawks main guy. What's his
Charlie
name?
Roumeliotis.
Charlie Roumeliotis asked the question, or it might have been Ben Pope or whatever. They asked about Kane, about bringing him back, because there's tons of rumors floating around that it's going to happen. And he goes, no, we don't foresee it happening. We're going to move on from that. And a lot of fans were ticked off, and you got some arrogant fans. Oh, we don't need Kane. Screw that guy. And I don't understand that group, because this is a business too, and you bring in the greatest Hawk of all time, people are going to pay to go see him. And you put the greatest Hawk of all time with the future greatest Hawk of all time, people are going to be very excited to see that. So I think it was a bad move on the management team to even say that. You should always keep your options open, and you never know. Kane, hey, I want to come play with Connor. Give me a 3-year deal. I'm going to sign off as a Blackhawk, get my number retired the next year, and let's do this. But I guess they got different plans.
So let me. I want to know what you unfiltered. Do you think that this is? I don't think that this is a Davidson decision. I think this is a Wirtz/Jimmy Faulkner decision, because apparently Jimmy Faulkner has some say in some of these decisions.
Yeah, unfiltered. Yeah, I think she wants nothing to do with Kane because of the 2010 thing with Kyle Beach. For some reason, it's a weird thing in this country. People like blaming other people that have nothing to do with the situation instead of the actual guy committing a crime. That's what You know what I mean? There's always that's how people are. They get so emotional and, well, why did this happen? Because of this guy didn't say no, nothing to do with that. And Patrick Kane got the worst of it. You know, same with Taves. And you look at all this stuff with the retirements of Hossa, Chelios. I think Taves was at the Hossa, but he was not at the Chelios one, and that's concerning because this was your captain. This is the face of the Blackhawks, and he wasn't there. That just shows like the relationship's not that good.
I've heard rumors that he's dealing with some things.
Yeah, health issues. I've heard that too, but you know, I just can't. That's a guy that a jersey retirement. That's a must. That guy's got to be there. He's the captain of the Blackhawks. You know. And when he gets his number retired, there should be a C on that banner. You know what I'm saying?
There should be, yeah.
That's the greatest captains in almost NHL history. This guy was just phenomenal, and I think he's got a bad relationship with the front office. I think he didn't like how stuff went down at the end, and he's pissed off. And I wouldn't blame him. I don't blame him one bit.
But I mean, Taves can't play. That's the problem.
Yeah, he can't play. Yeah.
He can't play. So, I mean, okay. So if let's say, for instance, that he is upset with the front office but what would he be upset about? Them not re-signing him? You know, he can't play.
Well, that, and I don't think he liked how everything kind of just happened so fast. Like, you're done. You know what? You're done. We're not resigning. We're not bringing you back. You know what I mean?
He had to know the writing was on the wall.
He did, but you know what? He probably says, hey, I've given everything for this team. Like, at least hear me out type of thing.
Yeah.
And he probably saw Kaner's, ovation that he got when he came back. And it's like, okay, Kane just buried the game-winning goal against his former team. The crowd was cheering him while he was wearing a Red Wings jersey. He's the only player that can get away with that,
Yeah.
And you're not going to bring that guy back for what reason? Nothing against Nick Foligno. But you're telling me Nick Foligno is a better choice to mentor Connor Bedard and not a Patrick Kane? That's just insane to me. And nothing against Nick. Nothing against Nick Foligno. Because I love you. Exactly. Corey Perry was a better choice than Patrick Kane. Come on, we know the hip's fine now. Maybe they were worried about spending money and not getting a good Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane was Detroit's best player down the stretch. It's so ridiculous how he would even say that. We don't foresee this signing of Patrick Kane. I think he really dropped the ball. And you could be right. It could be Wirtz and Faulkner, and poor Kyle Davidson's got to take the heat for it because, Kyle doesn't want him back. That's bullshit. Kyle should say, hey, I want him back, but it's not up to me, But then he's making his owner look bad, which is bullshit. I mean, I hope Kyle wants him back. I think they had a good relationship, but I don't know, man. I think this is just a mistake in the hockey sense and the business sense, because the hockey sense, you're getting a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. You're getting a former MVP of the playoffs and the season. You're actually getting a very good leader. Like, you could throw the C on that guy right now, and he'll be a great captain. And I think Foligno would even agree. Like, we'll follow you. We'll follow you. Give me an A. Give Connor an A. Let's get this kid ready to rock when we're done. But and then the business side, he made $2 million last year with Detroit. So you figure maybe he'll get $4 million for a full season for 3 years, $12 million. You're telling me Patrick Kane, who's he holding back? Or who would be held back if we signed Kane? Nobody. Kaner would fit right in, sell tickets, put up good numbers with Connor, make Connor better, probably make Taylor Hall better and Foligno better on the power play. Yeah. Seth Jones would be happy. Just very, very stupid move, in my opinion, with the Hawks, because they're not going for it next year. Just keep your fans happy so they don't leave, Well, you got to think of that stuff, and I think they're really they're really dropping the ball with this one.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think that you said it really, really well. I don't even really think I can add on to that, other than, like, as a fan, wanting to see him back in a Blackhawks jersey and not another team's jersey.
It doesn't make sense. What are we competing for? I understand. Nothing. Say, hey, all our young studs, say they're all on the team. we're like in the wild card spot, we're not going to be there. And if the dude wants to be here, maybe we don't know. Maybe there's just all smoke with Kane. Like, I'd love to come back. Maybe he's saying that, but maybe he doesn't want to be here. But if I'm Kyle, dude, July 1st, he's the first dude I'm freaking calling.
Yeah.
Like, Kaner, let's go. Let's stop the nonsense. The fans want you. We want you. You want to be here. Let's get this done. Let's stop this bullshit. But yeah, it was tough hearing that, man, for sure. When that was the first question they asked, and after that Red Wing game, I thought for sure, like with the crowd going nuts, and I thought for sure he'd be back after that. I think everybody did. I think everyone was like, "Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen." There's so much love between Kane and the fans love him back, and just it's a heartbreaker, dude. It's a Patrick Kane heartbreaker.
Like another Roenick moment, not as bad, but
but you can redeem it. You can redeem it.
Yeah, you can.
Like Roenick left in his prime. We got an older Kane, and you bring Roenick back in his late 30s, 40s. I still would have been happy. I still would be like, fuck yeah, we got JR back. I love that guy. But he's not going to put up 50 goals. But Kaner's got the possibility to be a point a game guy still. That's how good he is.
Jeez, man. It's are there any other free agents that you think that could make a good impact, a positive impact?
You know what, man? I've been hearing a lot of rumbling in what is it? Vegas. Vegas wants Mitch Marner. I don't know how they can do this stuff.
No,
I mean, what are they going to do? Put Mark Stone on IR until the playoffs again? But they'd have to move somebody. One. There's rumors they'd have to move like a Pietrangelo or a McNabb. Pietrangelo's still a solid defenseman.
He is, but he's old.
He's old, but he's making $8 million a year. So you got to find someone that's going to want that contract, in order for Mitch Marner to be even possible.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think we're gonna see a lot of trades this year. I think New York's got to do something, man. I mean, it's just not working with the core. Breadman showed up in the playoffs this year, but they fell short. Florida's just a good team. I credit Florida just for beating them. And Igor's gonna get a contract. This was a topic.
Oh, big time.
What do you think he's gonna? You think he's gonna get over 10?
10.
10 or over?
I think he'll get 10 because he knows that. They need to be able to move money with other players.
I know they recently signed Kako, a 1-year deal, kind of like, all right, kid, prove it. So
this is it.
This is it for him. Yeah, and I think he's a good player. I think Lafreniere's developed faster, and he had a great season this year. And I kept saying this over and over again. People are really quick to give up on guys, and if you're patient, the next season when they got the games under their belt, the experience, they wake up and I'm hoping that happens with Reichel. I hope Reichel's going to be our Lafreniere of next year.
I'm predicting that he's going to be that he's going to have a good season next year. And you know what? Next year is going to be his second full season. How many seasons has Lafreniere had? This was, I think, 3. His 4th season.
So he finished his entry level. He got his deal, I think, a 2-year or something, maybe a 3, whatever. But he had a great season this year, and he was solid in the playoffs. He scored some big-time goals.
Yeah, I still think that Reichel needs more time.
Yeah, but this is fine. This totally different situations. Lafreniere was on a team going for it, so it's probably got to be harder for him. Like if he's not performing, he's probably, hey, I'm gonna sit if I don't, get my ass in gear here. Reichel, if he has a slow couple games, what does it matter? We're not even pushing for a playoff spot. So I think another year under his belt, Reichel, I think he's gonna be ready to rock. I just hope they don't quit on him and send him down and keep that leash short. You gotta let him roam a little bit. You gotta give this guy a little space, and maybe put him with Connor a couple nights. Maybe even put him with Frankie. And
he just needs to shine on his own, man.
He does, but you need good line mates that can score goals. You can't put him with bangers. because that's not him.
Right.
That's not him,
Yeah,
and it won't work. If we're going to put Lucas on the fourth line, don't bother. Send him down.
Make sense.
Don't bother. Don't waste his time, and don't waste your time. Send somebody up that you want to, be a top 6 dude.
Yeah, that sounds good. Do you think the Blackhawks going into the draft, do you think that they need to draft another defenseman, or do you think that they should be looking for another center?
I think at this point, dude, you got to draft the best available guy. I think it's got to be like that. So I'm not sure. It changes a lot. They're telling me that defenseman, I think he's a Russian kid, or I'm not sure. I'll just call them foreign kids. But
I think his name is Demidov or something like that.
There's a kid in the Russian, the KHL. He wouldn't be able to play next year, which is not a big deal. Let him get his year off. He's not going to play in the NHL anyway, I don't think. Or I think there's another defenseman, and he said the Hawks actually took him out to dinner, and it was a good little meeting they had, and he had a good personality. He seemed like a good kid. I think he actually plays with the Michigan Wolverines, and they like him there. And they said he would really be the next best stay-at-home kind of guy. And they said him and Korchinski would be quite the pair. So it would be like the Keith and Siebes type of thing. I think something like that. But I'd be happy with that, man. But if there's a guy that they come out with an official ranking and it's a forward, I think they got to still grab that forward then, because I think we're still
okay.
I like our D. I think we got Nolan Allen, we got Del Mastro, we got some good kids that should be getting a shot here. And I think if you can move Connor Murphy, move him. Now's the time. Yeah. I'm going to say that all summer. And
thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Have fun. Bring Seth Jones with you if you want, because I think Seth might need to move over too for a young guy. Nothing against him, but if you can move that salary, somebody wants it, go for it.
Wow. That's a hot take right there.
If Ottawa wants him, if you swap him bad contract for bad contract, and if we have less term on it, go for it. You have to.
Yeah, they were talking about, Seth possibly being the next captain, a couple of years ago.
Last year.
Obviously
changed. Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you really think that we should move on from Seth?
I like him. I think he's important. Obviously, everybody hates the contract. Yep.
But we brought him here.
We were excited. I remember getting him, but he came in here on a transition of a rebuild. We were last stand going for it with our core, and it didn't work out. And Seth kind of got the impression like, yeah, we're going for it still. And the next year we're starting to rebuild, and I didn't want that, but he's still getting paid pretty good bucks to play hockey, and I think he's at like $9.5 million, which is crazy. But if somebody wants him, and we can retain some salary just to move him, I think we should, because these young guys are going to have to get paid eventually. Connor, I'm sure, is going to get paid good bucks, and if the Korchinski's going to get paid solid. Vlasic signed his 6-year, $6 million deal, which I think is fair. Defensemen of stay-at-home guys, they deserve that praise and the money too. It's not easy, but eventually this is the time where it gets hard for Davidson. He's got to make sure he can have a competitive team with Connor and not be over the cap. Like, look at the Maple Leafs. You got a stud, an all-time I think he's going to be the best goal scorer of all time, Austin Matthews. But he's going to get paid so much, it's going to be so hard to keep good guys with him and good depth around him, and they're not going to do anything. He's probably not going to even get close to a Stanley Cup.
The Maple Leafs, that's another conversation.
Yeah,
for another time.
The pitchforks are out for Mitch Marner, which the pitchfork should be out for the whole team.
Yeah, it should be.
It's a team effort. Yeah, sure. He didn't do as well as you'd liked him to, but look at the whole team. Same with Nylander. I think he's a good player in the playoffs, but I think he's like his brother. They're afraid to get hit. They look like they're dogging it, and
yeah,
they're happy to be getting. They're in the NHL. They're getting big bucks, but you gotta block shots. You gotta play hurt. and he missed, I think, 3 games. So I think he had bad migraines, and I'm not gonna make fun of him for that, because I get bad headaches, and I get to the point where I have to put my head under the covers just because the light is so sensitive. I get it.
Wow.
But you're in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you want to win. You're a cup contender. You gotta take medicine and fight through it. I go to work. You go to work, and sometimes we're sick. We got to pay the bills. We got to do our thing. These guys are, they're playing in the greatest league, and the fans are crazy in Toronto. They're hungry for a cup, and they're just, they're not even close. So
yeah,
you got to fight through that stuff.
Well, maybe they should promote David Camp so that he could score more goals.
I would give him an A. I think he's awesome, and maybe consider a retirement banner coming soon.
I'll tell you what, man. He was a good fourth liner, man. He was, third, fourth liner. He was good.
With our team, he was a second line center. He'd come out and take faceoffs and just, all right, go back to the bench. It's like, okay. He's like a closing pitcher. Yeah, we only need you for a half inning and you can go. See ya.
Oh my gosh. You got anything else, man?
No, man. Let's see next episode if we're talking about the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers or if the Edmonton Oilers are still fighting.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna say that that Florida puts them away in the next game.
Game 5? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna go to OT, and I think I'm gonna go with Sam Reinhart scoring the OT winner. They're gonna hoist the Stanley Cup in Florida for the first time, and they're gonna hand the cup to John Van Beesbrook second. Because I think that guy was a stud back then. And yeah, I love the helmet he had. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I did too. It was really different. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's all that we got for you on this one. We'll catch you on the next podcast. We'll be talking about the Stanley Cup winner, and we'll be talking about the ever closing first day of free agency, which is always a lot of fun. See how those first few days go, and then moving on to the draft. So that's all that we got for you. We'll catch you on the next one. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out of here.